The kettle whistles at 6:14 in a small house on Elm Street in a quiet town in western Pennsylvania, where the first gray light is just beginning to slip beneath the kitchen curtain. Harold Whitaker, 78 years old, a retired high school shop teacher, reaches for the burner without needing to look. His hand knows the way. It has known the way for more than 40 years. He wears the same navy flannel robe his wife Margaret sewed a patch onto in the winter of 2003. The house is silent except for the ticking of the wall clock above the refrigerator and the low hum of the old radiator warming the floorboards under his slippers. Outside the window, a cardinal lands on the sagging bird feeder. Harold watches it for a moment before turning back to the stove. I want you to notice something small here before we go any further. Harold is not doing anything remarkable. He is not exercising. He is not counting steps. He is simply awake. At the same hour he has been awake for 50 years, moving slowly through a morning he knows by heart. And yet, in my years of walking alongside older men and women, I have come to believe that this quiet, ordinary hour, this first hour of the day, may be one of the most powerful hours in the entire life of a person over 70. Have you ever wondered why some men and women in their late 70s and 80s still walk with a light in their eyes, while others, only a few years older, seem to fade into their armchairs? Have you ever wondered why two neighbors born in the same year on the same street can arrive at the same age looking as though they have lived on two different planets? Have you ever wondered whether the small choices, the ones no one notices, might quietly matter more than all the loud advice we have been given? I have wondered this too. For more than 2 decades I have sat with men and women in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, in kitchens and on porches and in hospital waiting rooms. And what I have come to believe, gently and firmly, is this: longevity after 70 is not built in the doctor's office. It is built in the kitchen at 6:14 in the morning. It is built in the walk to the mailbox. It is built in the pause before you answer the phone. It is built in the small, quiet choices you and I make when no one is watching. Today, I want to spend the day with Harold. I want you to walk with me through his ordinary Tuesday, from the whistle of that kettle to the click of his bedside lamp. Because inside this one day lived by one ordinary man, are 5 simple health rules that many doctors at institutions like the Mayo Clinic and the National Institute on Aging have observed in the men and women who reach great age with their dignity, their memory, and their joy still intact. You are not failing if you have never heard these rules before. You are not behind. Your body is not broken. It is never too late to begin. And I promise you, before this day ends, you will see yourself somewhere in Harold's kitchen, on Harold's porch, or in the soft lamplight of his evening chair. So pour yourself something warm, settle in, and let us begin where all good days begin, at the kettle. At 6:14, Harold pours the hot water slowly over a mug that holds a single tea bag and a spoonful of honey from his neighbor's beehives. He sits down at the small wooden table by the window. He does not turn on the television. He does not reach for the phone. He simply sits. For 7 full minutes, Harold does nothing but hold the warm mug in both hands and watch the light change outside. Now, let me step outside this scene for a moment and tell you what is quietly happening here, because it matters more than most people realize. Researchers at Harvard Medical School have observed over many years that the first hour after waking has a powerful effect on the nervous system of an older adult. In our younger years, the body springs upward into the day. In our 70s and beyond, the body needs to be invited into the day, gently, without shock. When we rush, when we grab the phone before our eyes have fully opened, when we jolt the heart with news and noise before we have even had a sip of water, we ask our aging body to do something it is no longer built to do easily. And so here is the first simple rule, the one Harold is living without even naming it. Rule 1. Begin the day slowly and drink water before anything else. Many doctors observe that older adults wake up quietly dehydrated. Through the long hours of the night, the body loses water it cannot ask for. The blood grows a little thicker, the joints grow a little stiffer, the mind grows a little foggier. And then, if we ask that same body to leap immediately into the demands of the morning, we are asking a great deal of a heart that has been beating faithfully for 7 or 8 decades. You might consider, as Harold does, keeping a small glass or a warm mug beside your bed or on your kitchen table. Not cold water, warm or at room temperature. Sip it slowly. Let your body wake up the way a garden wakes up, not the way a fire alarm wakes up. Harold takes his second sip. He watches the cardinal fly off. He thinks, without knowing he is thinking it, that this is his favorite part of the day. And that too is medicine. Many of us have been told that health is loud, that it is measured in gyms, in supplements, in step counters, in numbers on a screen. But the men and women I have watched reach 90 with light in their eyes have almost all shared this one quiet habit. They begin the day without hurry. They greet their body kindly before they ask anything of it. You are not lazy if your mornings are slow. You are wise. The slow morning is not a weakness of age. It is one of its gifts. By 8:30, Harold has eaten a small bowl of oatmeal with a handful of walnuts and a few sliced strawberries from the farmer's market. He has washed the bowl by hand. He has folded the dish towel and hung it on the oven handle the way Margaret used to. Now he puts on his brown cardigan, the one with the leather buttons, and he steps outside onto the porch. The air is cool. The maple tree at the corner of the yard has begun to turn. Harold walks down the 3 porch steps, one hand on the railing, and begins his slow walk down the driveway to the mailbox at the end of the street. It is not far, perhaps 200 paces. He does this every morning, whether there is mail or not. Let me step outside the scene again. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic and Johns Hopkins have observed again and again that the single most reliable predictor of longevity after 70 is not strength, not weight, not even blood pressure. It is walking, not the walking of marathons, not the walking of gyms. The walking of ordinary days, the walk to the mailbox, the walk to the garden, the walk to the porch and back. And so here is the second rule, Rule 2. Move every day gently on your own 2 feet. Many of us, after 70, become afraid of movement. We are afraid of falling. We are afraid of pain. We are afraid of being seen as unsteady. And so, without meaning to, we begin to sit longer. The chair grows comfortable. The world grows smaller. And the body, which was built to move, quietly begins to forget how. But here is the good news. And I want you to hear this clearly. Research suggests that even 10 to 15 minutes of gentle walking each day, spread out through the morning and afternoon, can meaningfully lower the risk of heart trouble, improve balance, sharpen memory, and lift the mood of an older adult. 10 minutes, not an hour, not a mile, 10 minutes done kindly. Harold reaches the mailbox. There is a single letter today from his granddaughter in Ohio. He tucks it into his cardigan pocket and turns to walk back. He notices the neighbor's tabby cat sitting on a fence post. He notices the crackle of dry leaves under his shoes. He notices that his knee, the one that ached yesterday, feels a little looser now. This is the medicine no bottle can hold. This is the medicine of the mailbox walk. You might consider, if you have not yet begun, starting with just 50 paces. 50 paces from your front door and back. Tomorrow, perhaps 60. The body at any age remembers what it once knew. It only needs a little patience and a little kindness and a reason to move. Harold's reason is a letter from Ohio. Your reason might be a bird feeder, a neighbor, a porch. It does not need to be grand. It only needs to be yours. At 10:20, there is a soft knock at Harold's back door. It is Ellie, 72, a widow who lives 2 doors down. She has brought a small jar of blackberry jam and a paperback book she thinks Harold might enjoy. She stays for 40 minutes. They sit at the kitchen table. Harold pours her a cup of the same tea. They talk about her grandson's baseball game, about the price of eggs, about the roof of the old church downtown that finally got fixed. They do not talk about anything urgent. They do not talk about anything important. And that, in itself, is the third rule. Let me step outside the scene. For many years, researchers at the National Institute on Aging have been studying what they call the loneliness epidemic among older adults. What they have found is sobering, and I want to share it with you gently. Prolonged loneliness in later life has been observed to raise the risk of heart trouble, of memory decline, and even of early passing at a rate comparable to smoking. It is not a soft matter, it is a matter of the body. And so here is the third rule, Rule 3. Keep one small human connection alive every single day. I want to be careful here. I am not asking you to have a wide social life. I am not asking you to be busy. Many of us in our 70s and 80s have lost the friends we grew up with. Many of us have outlived spouses. Many of us live alone in houses that used to be full. This is not a failure. This is the arithmetic of a long life, but the men and women I have watched age with light in their eyes have almost all kept one small thread of human connection alive each day. A neighbor at the door, a phone call to a grandchild, a conversation with the woman at the post office who has known them for 30 years, a wave to the man who walks his dog past the porch each evening. One thread. That is all. Not a party, not a crowd. One thread. If today feels heavy and you are watching this alone in the evening, I want you to hear something. You are not alone in feeling alone. Many of us feel it. And the small thread, the phone call you have been meaning to make, the letter you have been meaning to write, the neighbor you have been meaning to wave to, that thread is not small at all. That thread, research suggests, may be one of the most powerful medicines available to the aging heart. Before we go on, I want to ask you something. If Harold's morning has already reminded you of someone, a friend, a neighbor, a family member you have been meaning to reach, would you type the word pork in the comments below? Just the word Porch. I read them, and I want to know who is walking through this day with us. It helps me know that this quiet work is finding the people it was meant for. Ellie stands. She kisses Harold on the top of his head, the way an old friend does. She lets herself out through the back door. Harold rinses the 2 teacups. He looks at the jar of blackberry jam on the counter. He smiles. That smile, in a kitchen at 11 in the morning, is longevity. Quiet, unhurried, and free. At 12:30. Harold prepares his lunch. It is not fancy. He has learned over the years that fancy is not the point. On his plate today there is a piece of baked salmon left over from Sunday, a small mound of brown rice, a generous pile of roasted broccoli with olive oil and lemon, and a slice of tomato from the last of the garden. He eats slowly. He does not read the newspaper while he eats. He does not have the television on. He simply eats, and he tastes. When he is done, he does something that many of us have forgotten how to do. He pauses. He sits at the table for 10 more minutes with his hands folded, looking out the window at the tree that is turning red, and he simply digests. He does not stand up. He does not rush to the next thing. He gives his body the courtesy of being at the table until the meal has settled. Let me step outside the scene, because there are actually 2 rules quietly living in this midday hour. Doctors at institutions like the Mayo Clinic have long observed that the pattern of eating in later life matters as much as the food itself. What we eat matters, but how we eat matters just as much. And so here is the 4th rule. Rule 4. Eat simply, eat slowly, and finish before you are full. I want to say a few things gently. First, on what to eat. The men and women I have watched age well have almost all eaten what I would call a plain plate. Something green, something whole like brown rice or oats, or a slice of good bread. Something with gentle protein like fish, beans, eggs, or a small piece of chicken. A little healthy fat, like olive oil or a handful of nuts. Water to drink. That is the plate. That is the whole plate. Research suggests that after 70, the body no longer processes heavy, fried, or highly sweetened foods the way it once did. This is not a punishment. It is simply the body asking gently to be fed with a little more care. Many find that as they eat more simply, the aches in their joints soften, the fog in their mind clears, and the heaviness after meals fades. Second, on how to eat. Slow down. Set the fork down between bites. Chew a few extra times. Do not eat in front of a screen if you can help it. Many doctors observe that older adults who eat slowly, at a table, without distraction, digest more comfortably, absorb more of what nourishes them, and quite naturally stop eating before they are stuffed. The stomach signals fullness on a delay. When we eat fast, we miss the signal. When we eat slowly, we hear it in time. Third, on the pause after the meal. This is Harold's small ritual, and I want to tell you why it matters. When we stand up too quickly after eating, especially after 70, the blood, which has rushed to the stomach to help with digestion, can leave the head a little too suddenly. Many falls happen in this hour, many dizzy spells. A gentle pause, a few minutes at the table or in a chair, allows the body to steady itself. It is a small kindness. It is not laziness. It is wisdom. Harold pushes his chair back at 1:5. He carries his plate to the sink. He washes it slowly, by hand. He does not know he is doing anything special. He only knows that this is how his mother taught him to end a meal. And he has never seen a reason to change. Neither in my years of watching have I. At 2, Harold does something that most of the world has been taught to be ashamed of. He sits in his chair by the window, opens his granddaughter's letter, reads it twice, sets it down on the arm of the chair, closes his eyes, and rests. He is not asleep. He is not awake. He is somewhere in the soft country in between. The clock ticks. The radiator hums. A dog barks 2 streets over. 22 minutes pass. Harold opens his eyes. He feels, in a way he cannot explain, brand new. I want you to hear me clearly on this next rule, because I believe it is one of the most misunderstood matters in the aging life. Rule 5. Rest without guilt. Sleep without shame. Honor the body's need for stillness. For too many years, too many of us were told that rest is weakness, that the productive life is the good life, that to sit in a chair in the middle of the afternoon is somehow a small failure. I want to tell you, as gently and as firmly as I can, that this teaching is wrong. It has always been wrong. And after 70, it becomes dangerous. Researchers at Harvard Medical School and the National Institute on Aging have observed that older adults who take a short afternoon rest, 20 to 30 minutes, no longer than that, tend to show better memory, better mood, better heart rhythm, and better sleep at night than those who push through the afternoon on willpower alone. The body, after 7 decades, is not asking for less life. It is asking for a different rhythm of life, a rhythm with a soft valley in the middle of the day. And there is something else here, something I do not want to pass over quickly. Nighttime sleep after 70 is often not what it was in our younger years. Many of us wake at 3 in the morning. Many of us lie there watching watching the ceiling, worrying that we are broken. You are not broken. Research suggests that lighter, more fragmented sleep is a natural feature of the aging brain, not a defect of it. If you wake in the night, do not panic. Do not scold yourself. Get up if you need to. Sip a little water. Sit in the soft light for a while. Return to bed when your eyes grow heavy. Many find that the afternoon rest allows the nighttime waking to feel less frightening because the body is no longer running on empty. And so, the 5 simple rules that many doctors observe in men and women who age with light in their eyes. Begin the day slowly and drink water before anything else. Move every day gently on your own 2 feet. Keep one small human connection alive each day. Eat simply, eat slowly, and finish before you are full. Rest without guilt and honor the body's need for stillness. 5 rules. Not one of them costs a penny. Not one of them requires a prescription. Not one of them is out of your reach today, whether you are 70 or 80 or 92. Harold does not know that he is living all 5 of them. He only knows that he feels, most days, like himself. And that, in the end, may be the most honest measure of a life well aged. At 5:40, the light begins to soften. Harold puts on his cardigan again and steps out onto the front porch. He sits in the wooden rocker Margaret bought him for his 65th birthday. The chain still creaks in the same place it has always creaked. Across the street, a young father is teaching his daughter to ride a bicycle. Harold watches them for a long time. He does not need to say anything. He simply watches. Let me sit with you here on this porch for a few quiet minutes, because I want to tell you what has been happening inside Harold's body all day, without his ever knowing it. His heart has been served all day. The slow morning kept the blood pressure from spiking. The mailbox walk kept the arteries supple. The simple lunch, low in heavy fats and rich in fish and greens, kept the cholesterol quiet. The afternoon rest kept the heart's rhythm steady. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic have long observed that these small daily habits, taken together, are more protective of the aging heart than almost any single dramatic intervention. Harold's heart is not being rescued. It is being tended. His mind and memory have been served all day. The morning water cleared the fog. The walk woke the circulation to the brain. The conversation with Ellie exercised the parts of the mind that only real human contact can reach. The slow meal gave the brain steady, unspiked fuel. The afternoon rest allowed the memory to file away the day gently, the way a librarian shelves books after hours. Research suggests that the aging brain, given these 5 kindnesses, tends to hold its clarity far longer than the brain that is rushed, isolated, overfed, and denied rest. His emotional well-being has been served all day. He has not been shamed. He has not been rushed. He has been touched, briefly, by another human being. He has been given the dignity of a slow morning and a slow meal. He has been allowed to rest. Many doctors observe that the emotional life of an older adult is not a soft matter separate from the body. It is the body. Loneliness, hurry, and shame are felt in the bones. Warmth, connection, and unhurried hours are felt there too. Harold's heart, in every sense of that word, has been fed today. His blood sugar and steady energy have been served all day. The simple plate at lunch kept the blood sugar from spiking and crashing. The walk to the mailbox helped the muscles quietly absorb the sugar the body did not need. The rest kept the stress hormones from driving the sugar upward. Research from institutions like Johns Hopkins suggests that in later life, steady blood sugar may be one of the great quiet protectors of memory, of mood, and of energy. Harold has not thought about any of this. He has simply lived a day, and the day has taken care of him. This is the great secret, I think, of the men and women who reach 90 with their dignity intact. They do not have a bigger plan than the rest of us. They have a smaller one. They have 5 small rules, lived without fuss, in the middle of an ordinary day, in an ordinary house. On an ordinary street, the father across the road catches the bicycle handlebars just in time. The little girl laughs. Harold laughs too, softly on his porch. The light turns from gold to rose to gray at 8:45. Harold turns off the kitchen light and walks slowly down the hallway to his bedroom. He does not carry his phone. He carries a paperback book and a glass of water. He sits on the edge of the bed. He reads for 11 minutes. He marks his place with a folded scrap of paper. He sets the book on the nightstand. He reaches for the small brass lamp Margaret picked out at a flea market in 1988. His fingers find the switch by memory. The lamp clicks. The room grows dim, then dark except for the pale square of moonlight on the floor. Harold lies back. He closes his eyes, and somewhere in the quiet house on Elm Street, in the quiet town in western Pennsylvania, an ordinary man of 78, who has done nothing remarkable today, has done everything that matters. Now I want to turn for just a moment from Harold to you. If you have walked with me through this day, from the kettle at 6:14 to the lamp at 8:56, I want you to know something. You did not stumble onto this video by accident. You came here because some quiet part of you already knew. You already knew that the loud advice was not the whole story. You already knew that dignity in later life is not built in a hospital. It is built in a kitchen, on a porch, at a mailbox, in a chair by the window. You are not too old to begin. You are not too tired. You are not too far behind. It is never too late. It has never been too late, and it will not be too late tomorrow at 6:14, when your own kettle begins to whistle and your own day begins. You do not need to change everything at once. Choose one rule, just one. Perhaps tomorrow you will drink a glass of warm water before you touch anything else. Perhaps tomorrow you will walk to your mailbox and back, even if there is no mail. Perhaps tomorrow you will call the one person you have been meaning to call for weeks. Perhaps tomorrow you will eat a simple plate slowly at a table without a screen. Perhaps tomorrow you will sit in your chair by the window at 2 in the afternoon and give yourself, without guilt, 20 minutes of rest. One rule. One day. That is how a longer life is built. Not in a great leap, but in a small, quiet return to the wisdom your body already knows. If this day with Harold has touched something in you, I would be honored if you would do 3 small things before you go. First, if you have not yet, type the word pork in the comments below, so I know you were here. Second, share this video quietly with one older man or woman who might be watching alone this evening. You do not need to say anything grand. Just send it. Someone is waiting for it without knowing they were waiting. Third, and this is the smallest and the greatest, promise yourself one rule for tomorrow. Just one. Harold's lamp is out now. The house is quiet. The wall clock ticks on. Somewhere on Elm Street, a porch light is still burning, kept on for a neighbor who might walk past. I will keep this porch light on for you too. Come back tomorrow. Come back whenever the evening feels long. We will sit here together as we did tonight, and we will remember, quietly and without hurry, that a good life after 70 is not built in the doctor's office. It is built in the small, tender, ordinary hours you already have. It is never too late. It never has been, and it never will be. Good night, dear friend. Sleep gently. I will see you at the kettle.